What is up, everybody? Welcome to Second and 15, a Philadelphia Eagles fan podcast presented by Old City Sports Network. This is your host, Michael Roscoe, and welcome to the season 2 premiere of the show. I kind of wish I had some air horns in the background, but I'll work on that later on. I am so excited to get this second season rolling, get things going with the new football season. Training camp has started today. We're going to talk a lot about that from day one's practice. But before we go into all of that, if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel, which is just at Second and 15, 2NDAND15, and turn on those notifications so you don't miss a second of Second and 15 content, as well as follow us on our social media pages, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at Second and 15, as well as the Old City Sports Network, E at the end of old, so you don't miss content from us as well as the other Old City Sports Network shows. All right, let's dive right into the NFL news that we got going. We got some NFL news, mainly about training camp and holdouts across the league, and then we'll dive right into our Eagles content. So starting off, some interesting retirements as camp comes around. So training camps have started all across the league, and we have got some notable camp holdouts and sudden retirements. And going off of those retirements, we have the former Cowboys, former Raiders wide receiver Michael Gallup calling it quits all of a sudden, retiring right before the start of the 2024 season after just playing 6 seasons. He's retiring at the age of 28. And then you have linebacker Shaq Barrett retiring from just 4 months after, or from 4 months after signing with the Miami Dolphins. Former Super Bowl winning player from the Tampa Bay Bucks suddenly calls it quits. We experienced this with Devontae Parker. We signed him, and he suddenly decided he wanted to retire. I don't get it. Like, I may have not paid attention as much in previous years about players suddenly retiring before the season. But what the fuck, y'all? Why sign with a team, waste their time, and be like, nope, I want to call it quits right before the beginning of the season? You know, there could be some personal reasons. There could be a bunch of other reasons. I don't know, but it seems like it takes a hit to the team in a way. But again, people make their choices. People have the choice to do whatever they want and retire whenever they want. So good luck to those retirees on the rest of their endeavors. And we got some training camp holdouts all across the league. We got some interesting players that are either reporting but seeking a new contract, reporting and not practicing, or just straight up not being at training camp at all. We're going to dive into some of those topics briefly. First, we got players participating in camp but are seeking a new trade/deal. Those include some notable names such as Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa. I'll have to ask the boys at Quit Chasing how they feel about that. Saints running back Alvin Kamara and 49ers wide receiver Brandon Ayuk, who I told about last week, suddenly requesting that trade. Well, not so suddenly, but requesting a trade. He's a participant in camp, but still seeking a trade if possible. 49ers are going to try their chances at retaining him somehow. It might come at a cost. It might have to be, some type of Deebo Samuel trade again, like they talked about in the past, but we'll see how that goes. Additionally, Packers quarterback Jordan Love reported to camp, but declined to practice as he's seeking out a big payday, just like the others around the league. 50 to 55 million seems to be the standard now. You got some guys down at 45, like Patrick Mahomes, Daniel Jones at 40 million a year. It's kind of ballsy, in my opinion, a little bit. I think it's his final year of contract, and he had one good year. Again, people could say the same thing about Jalen Hurts, but he had like a steady kind of so-so years, then one good year, and he wants this big payout. He's seeking to be the highest paid player, which currently now I believe is Trevor Lawrence at $55 million. It's kind of ballsy. I imagine they're going to work out something contract related. If they don't exercise his final fifth year option, I think it is, or whatever. Could be wrong about that, but we'll see how that goes. It's kind of ballsy. Then we got some players completely holding out of camp itself. You have the offensive tackle Trent Williams from the 49ers. You have Cowboys wide receiver CeeDee Lamb. I know we talked about that a lot this year. He still hasn't gotten paid. Dak hasn't gotten paid. Micah hasn't gotten paid. We don't know what the hell's going on in Dallas. And to be frank, I don't really care all that much. Sorry, I had a hair in my mouth. And we have also former Eagles, but current Jet, Hassan Reddick, just MIA at camp, not participating. And for those who don't know, it costs these players about $50,000 in fines for not showing up to camp. I wish I had that kind of fuck you money to where I could shell out 50 grand a day in the hopes of getting paid more. But I'm not like that. But I do want to talk about Hassan Reddick, and some of these guys, they are looking to get paid, some deservingly so, some kind of so in my opinion. But I want to focus on Hassan Reddick's holdout and what it means for the Eagles. For those who don't know, we traded Hassan Reddick to the New York Jets for a third round 2026 pick, which is a conditional pick, meaning if certain criteria is met, that goes up to a second round pick. And there were some mixed opinions at the beginning of this. There was concerns that, we should trade Josh Sweat over Hassan Reddick. But ultimately it came down to letting Hassan go to the Jets. And, from a GM perspective, Howie is a damn genius. Okay. We, all the rumors were going about, and then this trade came out with these conditional or these conditions, which are Hassan Reddick must play 67.5% of his snaps and must accumulate 10 sacks, which is something he could do realistically. If that is not achievable, that pick remains a third rounder. But mainly due to the signing of Bryce Huff, we have a Hassan Reddick replacement who is 5 years younger, had only one less sack than he did last year despite Huff playing significantly less time per game than Hassan did, and at a rate of $17 million a year versus anywhere from $20, $21, $22 million that Hassan Reddick is possibly seeking. He's definitely seeking at least over $20 million, something that the Eagles just were not able or wanting to shell out to a 30-year-old edge rusher. So in the end, the Birds have a player that better fits the philosophy and needs of the team. Howie's always gearing up, going for those younger guys to sign to long-term contracts. And we have a guy who currently is not sitting out of his training camp. Bryce Huff was there participating in practice today. So I'd say that's a win for us. All right, before we go into the Eagles discussion, I just want to give you all a quick word from our sponsors. So all 32 teams have officially started training camp, and they are hungry for that Lombardi trophy. But to satisfy your hunger, go ahead and order yourself some Righteous Felon Craft Jerky with awesome craft flavors, as well as being gluten-free, low sugar, and American-made. Head on over to your local store, or better yet, go online to righteousfelon.com and use our promo code OCSN, ticking at the bottom of the screen, all lowercase, for 15% off of your order. Any orders over $50 will receive free shipping, so that's a plus. With the preseason close to us, you might want to find tickets for those preseason games, or better yet, try to get tickets for a game that's coming up in your area. And if you can't get a ticket to a game, might as well find a music event, another sports show, comedy, whatever you're feeling for. But to get those tickets, you'll want to use SeatGeek. So head on over to SeatGeek.com or download the app on your smartphone to use our promo code Old City Sports Network, all one word with E at the end of old, for $20 off of your first order. And additionally, if you can't make your event for whatever reason, because life happens, SeatGeek will credit your purchase to your next order. And to my fellows out there, before you head out to those games, comedy events, music, concerts, whatever it might be, you want to make sure that you are looking fresh and especially your beard, making sure it is groomed, clean, and presentable. For your beard care needs, head on over to warlordbeardoil.com, a veteran owned company, and use promo code OLDSPORTS in all caps for 15% off your beard oils, washes, soaps, lotions, apparel. They got beard tools and so much more. And orders over $75 will receive that free shipping as well. And finally, don't forget to support us. We're a small network with big dreams, and we can use all the support that we get from fans who tune in each and every single week. We appreciate you all. If you want to continue to help us out, go ahead onto oldcitysports.com. Use the promo code TipKing at the bottom of the screen, which is Old City in all caps, for 15% off of some merchandise. We got merchandise, y'all. I'm telling you, it looks awesome. We got water bottles, we got camping mugs, there's clothing, dog tag necklaces, ornaments for the holiday season, stickers, you name it. Go ahead on oldcitysports.com, click that merchandise button, scroll through, pick out your favorite item, go ahead and put it in your cart, and use that promo code for 15% off. It'd be greatly appreciated. All right, y'all. Now we're going to dive into our most important segment, that Eagles news and discussion. And I'm telling y'all, we got a lot to talk about with this day one practice we got. But first, I want to give a little bit of information to those who may not have seen. So, BG to retire after 2024. Eagles veteran defensive end Brandon Graham confirms that he will retire at the conclusion of the 2024 season. Going on year 15, he'll become the longest single-team Eagles franchise player, surpassing Chuck Bednarik, who had played 14 continuous years with the Birds. Graham was quoted stating, "It's my last year, just trying to soak it all in and enjoy every day." I love that. I love that attitude. I love that mindset. And, um, I'm hoping he's able to end this career with a second Super Bowl ring. That would be just a fantastic way to end a Hall of Fame career. All right, y'all. Training camp is back for Birds, both rookies and veterans. Uh, Training camp officially started yesterday, but today was the first day of practice, and we are fucking back, y'all. Oh, I can't wait for this season to start. The collapse from last year had me craving the new season even more than typical, and I'm just looking forward to seeing all the moves that we've made in this offseason just pay off. Players reported yesterday, like I said, and we had some notable players who were unable to participate in today's practice for various reasons. So, first, we got guard Landon Dickerson dealing with a toe laceration. So, offensive tackle Mekhi Becton, who we picked up from also the Jets, took snaps at the left guard, while you had second-year player Tyler Steen taking snaps over at, third-year player Tyler Steen. Can't remember. Anyway, Tyler Steen playing right guard. Yeah, a toe laceration. Not sure what that's all about. Maybe it was the slip and slide party that they had or something with his lawnmower. They're saying it's not serious. I think they're just doing it as precautionary. It's been reported as a not serious injury, according to various sources, such as Zach Behrman on X. Additionally, you had offensive lineman Brett Toth dealing with a hamstring injury, so he did not practice today, as well as rookie CB Cooper DeJean suffering a hamstring injury during offseason workouts and was placed on the NFI list, which, for those who don't know, is the non football related or non-football injury list. He's anticipated to make a speedy recovery, expected to miss about 3 weeks of time, which is basically the entire training camp. Um, this doesn't necessarily put him in a great position, but not necessarily in a bad decision either. He will make it to training camp prior to the first season game if everything goes smoothly. They say he tweaked it during an off-season workout, and I think they're just being precautionary, and then giving the chance to have some of these bubble guys potentially make the roster now that he's on that NFI list. But he'll be removed once he's eligible to be on the regular roster again. So we'll see how that occurs. I'm not worried, but I'm kind of disappointed. Obviously, you can't control injuries and things like that. But I really wanted to see footage of Cooper DeJean in the training camp as well as the open practice that's coming up next week on August 1st. He had a strong rookie mini camp. And of course, I'm not worried about him losing a roster spot. Like that's set in stone. Um, I think they're just playing it safe so that he can be ready when the season starts. And we're hoping for a quick, smooth, and efficient recovery. We want him to be 100% before he steps foot on that field. So we got on the next topic, we got some observations from the first practice. I'll go into those real quick. These are some observations that I've seen on some YouTube videos, as well as reading some tweets from various sources like Eli Shores Parks, Zach Berriman, and others reporting on today's practice. So here's what we got so far. First, we had Paris Campbell as wide receiver 3, getting pretty much the entirety of the wide receiver 3 snaps, getting multiple completions from Jalen Hurts. Hurts, speaking of which, would go for 15 for 16 passing with 1 touchdown and 0 interceptions. And that 1 incompletion was a wide receiver drop. It was placed right in his hands and dropped that shit. Focus passing wise were short, medium passes, but he also had a 35-yard pass for a touchdown to Dallas Goedert after a motion play, I believe it was. But his accuracy was astounding, including that perfectly thrown pass to Goedert, as well as Jalen Hurts and Saquon. That tandem is just hitting different, with Barkley calling Hurts a natural-born leader. So I hope that resolves any of these people thinking that there's leadership issues with Jalen Hurts in the locker room. It's complete bullshit. You heard it from Saquon. You've heard it from other people before. Natural born leader. That ain't going to change. Hurts has been nothing but improving each and every single year. Other observations we got, and I love this one in particular, especially if you hated the offense as much as I did last year. We saw some increased motion, play action, and running back dump off / shovel passes. This offense is already looking less stale, more creative, and less monotonous than what we saw last year with its endless quarterback draws, run design plays, and wide receiver screens with Skitty Batman blocking. Don't know what the hell was going on through that offense's mind last year, but I'm already seeing these improvements. We're seeing quickness and reactions from Hurts to get the ball off to Saquon or to pass the ball in the middle of the field, which I know was a weakness that was being worked on this year. Already a green flag in the sense in my mind about Kellen Moore. A funny observation, if you haven't been outside, it's a hot one, and that took a toll on tackle Mekhi Becton, who led the vomit stat with 4 episodes of vomiting during the camp. I don't think he anticipated on taking snaps immediately, but with the Landon Dickerson injury, he had to step up. Still performed well, just, puked a little bit. Shit happens. Shifting gears to the defense, we had opposite Darius Slay, Isaiah Rodgers starting at that opposite corner position with Avonte Maddox in the slot. Now, what I'm about to say is a personal note, and it makes me wonder because for those who don't know, we let Maddox go and then we re-signed him a month after. I wonder if Cooper DeJean did not get hurt, would he have been taking those starting reps in the slot? 70 to 80% of me thinks yes. That's just because he's been taking the majority of his slots in rookie minicamp, or sorry, he's been taking the majority of his snaps in the slot position during rookie minicamp, and he's been predicted by some sources to be starting in the slot this year, especially with the injury history that Avonte Maddox has. Our first rounder from the draft, Quinyon Mitchell, took second team reps, not only in the slot, but in the outside corner opposite Akili Ringo, who was having a strong camp, who I talked about in previous episodes. James Bradbury, a name we all love to hear right now. He has been taking reps at safety with the second teamers. And that makes me wonder, with the summer coming to an end, is there going to be a big move made? He did sign that 3-year, $38 million contract after his 2022 Pro Bowl season, then absolutely shit the bed last year in 2023. Is this his comeback year? It doesn't seem to have a strong start, in my opinion, between the abductor injury and then taking reps in a new position with the second teamers. A guy getting paid that much, it's a little discouraging. But, I got to have faith. I got to have optimism in my team. So hopefully, he's making those improvements and we see a better James Bradbury this year. Hopefully, we get evidence of that as more practice days occur. In the linebacker core, Zach Bond and Devin White take the first team reps for the majority of the camp, while Nakobe Dean and Ben Van Sumeren take the second team reps. Now, the Dean Van Sumeren combination, I don't know if I really saw that coming. I think Jeremiah Trotter not being talked about as much. I haven't really seen a whole lot of him in camp. And yet I know he's a rookie. He's got a huge, chip on his shoulder with his dad being a member of the team. I just feel like I haven't seen a lot of him, but I didn't really expect the Nakobe Dean Van Sumeren pairing. But Zach Bond has also been making improvements and making a name for himself as a starting linebacker. He didn't have, the starting linebacker stats last year that I wanted to see, but at this rate, with the way how he has been treating that position, we can take anything that we can get at this point. So those are some brief observations from that camp. I do want to go into another bit of news that kind of ties along with the injuries that we've been seeing. So Sidney Brown, defensive back, who was our rookie from last year, he is going to start the year on the physically unable to perform, or the PUP list. And basically what that means is it is what it is. He's physically unable to perform right now due to an injury or for some other reason. And it helps free up a roster spot, only temporarily, though, for someone who might be on the bubble, because they're going to want him back when he's healthy and he's going to be taken off that list, which means some guy's going to get bumped down later on down the road. At the end of the regular season last year, for those who didn't know, he tore his ACL in the last game against the Giants, a game that some people would believe to be questionable putting certain players in just with the position that we were at. Sidney's recovery appears to have been going well over the past several months. However, he has mainly only been performing light exercises outside of the team's main skill activities prior to breaking for the summer, such as running half speed laps on the sidelines and around the NovaCare Center. The thing that I worry about, and this is the only thing I worry about, is that if he cannot get off the PUP list prior to week one's game, he'll have to miss at least 4 games. And in a bounce back year like this, especially in a not so big depth wise safety position, having him miss the first 4 games would not help us at all. However, at the same time, I'd rather him continue to take the time that's absolutely necessary, not rush into anything, and get back to complete 100% before he takes the field again. We saw what happened with Jalen Hurts when I feel like they try to rush him back into things quickly after his knee injury. A lot of reports say he was not the same runner. It impacted his pass game. And looking back on it, I think we did rush him from that injury. From a fan, teammate, coach, whatever perspective you may have, multiple perspectives in that moment, of course, you're thinking if he's good to go and he says he's good to go, put him in because that's your guy, that's your starting guy, that's your QB1, or that's your starting guy in whatever position and you want him to be in there. If he says he's good to go, he's good to go. But I think it bit us in the ass last season. And he wasn't the same player because of it, even though he was still making moves. So what could have been the case if he had taken his time to fully heal, recover from that knee injury before getting him back out in the field? I feel like I don't want to say that the collapse would not have happened, but I feel like his performance wouldn't have been as stunted as what we saw from him last year. Long story short, injuries screwed us. And I know it sucks, but there's no sense in getting a player back out on the field too soon just because they're the best player, or we're playing a specific team, or we're low in a certain depth position, or whatever. That person, if that person cannot perform their best on the field, if they're not feeling their best physically and emotionally, it just doesn't work out in the ways that we want it to. So I think where I'm getting at is that if we need to trust the process, let Sidney Brown heal, and if it means he misses 4 games to be able to play the remaining 13 at 100% versus playing all 17 games at 50%, I'll take those 13 games in a heartbeat. Now, if it comes down to this, we definitely need to address the safety position, but I've rambled about that already. There hasn't been any update regarding any safety signings, so we'll just continue to watch the news and see what happens from there. All right, my last and a little bit of fun segment for this one tonight. Big man running back runs. What the hell do I mean about that? So could we see some big man running back runs? A clip on Twitter featuring running back coach Jamal Singleton and the hosts of the British and Irish Eagles podcast. Uh, they mentioned how Jordan Mailata, Jordan Davis, and Jalen Carter have expressed interest at taking reps at the running back position in short yard situations. Now, honestly, this is not a bad idea at all. And here's why. For one, Jordan Davis has done it before. At Georgia, he had a 1-yard rushing touchdown against Charleston Southern that he made look easy. So he's got at least 1 rep of experience under his belt. Sure, it was against a smaller college program and they were absolutely decimating them, so they could try something out like that. But nonetheless, it's experience. 2, Jordan Mailata, prior to moving to the United States and playing American football, was a freaking rugby player. And I don't know if y'all seen any of his rugby highlights or have seen rugby at all, but dude's got burners and can take hits like crazy. He was a forward, which for those who don't know rugby, are basically big dudes that can run the ball, but also make short yard bursts to advance the ball to your backs, your skinnier wide receiver like dudes, so that they can get the scrum half and the fly half, basically quarterbacks for the forwards and the backs, into position. So rushing 1 yard behind the offensive line would be a cakewalk for Jordan Mailata. Now, I don't know if Jalen Carter has any experience in this, but he is a freak athlete and could probably do it if it was called upon him to do so. And 3, this would take relief off of Jalen Hurts, possibly even Saquon, in the sense that either Mailata, Davis, or Carter could run the ball themselves on short yard, third, fourth down situations or goal line situations to achieve the first down or score, or that those 3 could act as an old school fullback and act as another blocker for the running back or the QB to do it themselves. Now, obviously, with Mailata on the line, we would have to put another offensive lineman in. But I feel like the idea of doing this big man rush play is logical and it has the capability to work, but you just don't see a lot of teams actually do it or practice it or attempt it. So if the Eagles want to break the league with another play that's going to piss off the other 31 teams, but excite the shit out of the Eagles fans, then by all means, run these types of plays like crazy, trademark another name for it, and use it to get us back to the Super Bowl and to win. All right, y'all. So that's all my talking points for tonight. Hopefully you enjoyed watching the season 2 premiere. If you've missed the other 49 episodes that we have from season 1, you can check those out on streaming services such as Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple, Player FM, Overcast, or wherever you get your podcasts. And you can check out episodes 40 through 49 on YouTube by searching Second and 15, a Philadelphia Eagles fan podcast. So once again, thank you everybody for joining. We'll meet you guys again next week. We'll look to see how camp goes between then and now. Don't forget to stay fly like an eagle, and as always, go birds.